You have to wake up. You have to realize that no one is coming to save you. You have to internalize the fact that you are the main character in your own life. And just like a video game character, you have the ability to level up. You're not destined to live a life of loneliness if you actually start doing something about it. By watching this course, you're literally changing the trajectory of your life, and I'm so excited for you. But before you start going out and approaching women and going on dates with those women and turning those dates into casual, fun flings or maybe even serious relationships, before you do any of that, we need to address a few important things that exist not in the words you say or the way that you look, but who you are on the inside. To some of you, this may seem corny and you want to just skip ahead to the next module where I tell you exactly what to say and where to go and what to do. But I promise you that if you don't figure this stuff out, like this internal stuff out, the stuff like internal validation and self-worth, self-respect, being able to go out by yourself, like totally alone without friends and just have a good time, developing the ability to give yourself tough love, being able to feel grounded in what you think is right and actually be able to express that. If you don't have any of that stuff figured out, number one, you're gonna have a really hard time attracting women into your life consistently. And number two, if you do attract women into your life, it's going to be really hard for you to actually keep them in your life. I learned this the hard way through years of experience, and what I'm doing is distilling all of those years of experience into just a few hours of course content. So I give you exactly the major points that I would basically tell myself, back a few years ago. I know that this isn't sexy advice, okay? This isn't like cool, flashy, viral TikTok Riz advice. Like if you want to get a girl, you got to work on what's on the inside first. It sounds corny, I know, but I promise you that this will be the difference between you getting a girl and then her becoming bored with you versus you getting a girl and her actually staying in your life, whether it's a casual fling or a serious relationship. This internal transformation is essential. Guys who haven't had this internal transformation, they are very quick to adapt to whatever the girl likes, whatever the girl thinks is cool, whatever the guy thinks the girl is gonna like, that's what the guy does. And that's just a huge mistake that a lot of inexperienced guys make. Guys who don't have this internal stuff figured out, they rely on validation from women, right? Like the most important thing for them is just having a girl in their life, because if they don't have that girl in their life, they're gonna feel like something is wrong with them, that they're worthless. So getting that girl, it means so much to them, because not only is it the sex and the relationship and stuff, but it's also this feeling of peace that like, thank God, like nothing is wrong with me. Like I feel validated. Guys who have gone through this transformation, the guys who feel complete, they feel whole, they like who they are, they know who they are. They don't rely on women in that way. They get girls and they like hanging out with them. They like having sex with them. They, the cuddling, the relationships, the teasing, the play fighting and all that stuff. Like all that stuff is really fun. But it's not like they're relying on a girl to make them feel whole. Having a girl for them is fun. It keeps them grounded. Sure, it's nice to have a woman in your life, but it's not such a huge thing for them, right? It's more casual if they don't have a girl in their life, or if the girl doesn't, respond to them, if it's kind of like in the early stages of dating and, a girl just doesn't really respond to them too much. It doesn't really matter to them because they're not putting all of their self-worth onto this girl, like depending on how the girl reacts to them. These guys know who they are, they like who they are, and having a girl in their life is like a fun bonus that just makes them feel even better. But it's not like this essential thing as it is for these guys that, crave that validation. I used to be the first guy. And by doing this one-on-one coaching, I've learned that a lot of you guys are also in this same boat. I was the guy who was lonely, insecure, directionless. I needed a girl in my life because I genuinely felt like something was wrong with me. Like back in my college years and in my early 20s sort of, and even when I started approaching women, I had this feeling that I was like socially broken, that I just didn't get it, that there was like something to get, that there was like this language that you speak with women, and it's just kind of this very nuanced, invisible, mysterious thing. And there's guys that get it. And if you get it, you get girls and it's fun. You have a fun dating life. And if you don't get it, you're never going to get what you want out of dating and relationships and sex and all that stuff. You're just never going to get it. That's who I thought I was. Like I thought I was this socially broken guy. And the only way to fix it was to have a girl in my life, because that would validate that I wasn't socially broken, or that like I'm able to get a girl in my life, right? So that means that I'm fuckable. It means that I'm able to reproduce. I'm not socially broken. I'm meant to exist in this world. I think it really goes that deep for a lot of guys, that if they're not able to get a girl, if they haven't had a lot of experience with women and they feel like there's something that they're not getting, they really feel like it's maybe they're not meant for this world, right? Because ultimately men and women need to reproduce to keep this whole thing going. And it's honestly, it's the shittiest place to be in as a guy as far as dating goes, because if you're relying on a girl to tell you that, you're worthy, and not necessarily to actually tell you verbally, but just kind of her presence in your life tells you that, you're worthy and you're okay. If you're relying on her to kind of give you that feeling in life, you're going to end up getting way too attached to her really early on, and you're just going to be relying on her so much emotionally. And this shows up as, you being clingy. It shows up as, you text her and she doesn't respond for like an hour. So now you're overthinking, like, oh shit, did I text the wrong thing? Like, could I have said something better? Right? You constantly feel like you're losing her. So you end up double texting her early on in the first few months of a relationship, or even in like the first, few days. Like, let's say you approach a girl and you get her number, she might not respond to you immediately, right? Insecure guy who is, relying, he's counting on this girl saying yes to going on a date with him. It's just a really shitty place to be in as a guy, because it's going to show up as like clinginess. If you're relying on anybody, if you're relying on a person, but especially, to a girl, especially in the early stages of a relationship, or even if it's like a casual thing, if you text her and she doesn't respond to you for a couple hours, guys who are insecure, and I know this from personal experience, I used to be this guy, guys that are insecure, they worry nonstop. If they don't get a text back, they're worrying about like, if did I say the right thing? Did I say the perfect thing? They start overthinking everything they send, and there's even content on, how to text like the perfect thing or whatever. Her attention literally becomes like a drug to you. It's just a super dangerous place for a guy to be in with a woman. So that's why I want to create this entire first section of this, community, this whole course, the whole before you start approaching, because if I were to not address this and I were to just give you the, how to actually approach women advice in the next course, and, you just went out there and you had all these feelings of insecurity and unworthiness, and, you didn't know how to go out by yourself, or you didn't even know that that was a thing that you needed to do. There's so much that I feel like I need to address before I just give you the advice and then like send you out there into the world and like, start approaching women and dating women, because there's a lot of stuff you kind of need to be aware of before you get yourself into those situations. And it's all on you, by the way, like how you act with women, how you, how grounded you are, how calm you are, how much a woman's like opinion or whatever she thinks is cool, how that affects you, or, all of these things. Like if a woman doesn't respond to you, it's not her being manipulative and weird. It's you just being insecure, right? If this all comes down to how comfortable are you with yourself? Do you realize that you have options out there, that there isn't just one girl for you in the entire world, that, there's plenty of women out there, plenty of fish in the sea, and that you just need to go approach them and then meet them, basically. This is all dependent on you. And I kind of want to touch on this idea that like women are manipulative, right? Like you hear this a lot, especially with like the red pill kind of style self-improvement, dating stuff. Guys like Andrew Tate, guys, kind of in that realm, they will tell guys that, okay, like women will manipulate you and women are manipulative. Are women actually manipulative? The honest truth, my genuine realization that I've had in my life is that the more that I've matured as a man and the more that I've developed this like security in myself and who I am and the way that I express myself as well, the more all of that has happened, the less manipulative women have become. It's not the women that are manipulative, it's me. I've just become stronger as a man, like on a mental level and on a fucking physical level. So if a girl doesn't text me back, it's not a big deal. If a girl thinks clubbing is fun and, vaping is cool and she wants me to do it, also, I'm not just gonna do it because I want her to like me or something. I'm just going to be like, no, that stuff's lame. Ew. And that's going to create some fun tension in the dynamic. The truth is about all of this is that it's not that women specifically are going to be manipulative to you and they're going to try to like get you to do whatever they want. The world itself is manipulative, right? People all over the world, right? It doesn't matter if they're women, right? It could just be even your friends. Your friends kind of pressuring you to go out and have like this night of partying and heavy drinking, and you know you don't want to. You kind of don't like that atmosphere that much. You don't really like these friends even that much, but they end up, getting you to go out. That's the same thing, right? You just weren't grounded in yourself, and you didn't have enough self-respect to just be like, I don't want to do that, right? You were afraid of missing out. You were afraid of like, what if I say no and they think I'm a loser and maybe they don't invite me again anymore. These are the only friends that I have. So like, I don't want to lose them. So I'm going to do stuff to keep them, even if I don't want to do the things that they like. That's what this is. And women will do the same thing to you. Women, if they can tell that, you're kind of just going to do whatever they want you to do, there's going to be some women that just take advantage of that. I mean, it's the same thing as a guy. If he had a girl who, imagine you yourself, like, were hooking up with a girl and you just got the feeling like, dude, this girl's like kind of into me. Like she's going to come over anytime I text her. You would take advantage of that. Don't lie to yourself. Like if a girl that was attractive responded to your texts all the time and double texted you when you didn't respond for a couple hours, you would kind of play around with that for a little bit, just kind of like see what happens. I mean, I don't know if you'd get into a relationship with that girl, but maybe you would. I don't know. But you're going to be the one not responding. You're going to be the one ghosting. You're going to be the one not doing what she wants to do and just being like, nah, I'd rather not do that. Let's do what I want to do. Because you know that she's going to say yes because she likes you that much, right? It's the same thing. Like, it's not that women are manipulative. It's just that you as a man need to be firm in who you are. You need to understand who you are. You need to develop an awareness of like what you value in life. So like with the going out and partying and heavy drinking, right? If it's a girl who's trying to get you to do that, or if it's like a friend group that you don't really vibe with too much, do you value partying or do you value 8 hours of sleep and waking up in the morning and feeling good? What do you value more? If a girl that you're into isn't really responding to you and a day goes by and she doesn't text you back, what do you value? I mean, do you value a girl that does that, or would you rather have a girl in your life that actually responds to you? So then you could just like get rid of the girl that isn't responding to you, kind of just like delete her number or whatever, and just go approach more women and then find a woman who actually does respond to you and is interested in you. Putting all the blame on the outside world is exactly what is going to keep you from making any progress. This shit's on you. No one's going to come to save you. The world isn't holding you back. It's really not. The world is just going to be what the world is going to be, right? If people that you meet in your life can tell that you're kind of clingy and that you're kind of going to just agree to anything that they say, people will take advantage of that. All right. So it doesn't matter if it's women. I just want to address that because this idea that women are like these manipulative, like demonic fucking creatures. Like there's guys on YouTube, I'm not going to say their names, but they are very popular. They have, courses and communities like this that, are very successful. And there's just so many men that are getting caught in this idea that like women will use anything to just like manipulate you. It's like, bro, it's like the world itself is going to do that. And as a man, you need to just be grounded and firm in who you are. How do you find, your values and how do you actually back them up? How do you live by your values? And when you can sense that a person isn't right for you, you kind of just cut them off because you're like, I don't want that, Like, let's say you want to be in a relationship with a girl. She kind of tells you like, nah, I don't want to be in a relationship. I want to just like fuck around. I want to date. I don't want to be in a relationship, right? But you like her a lot. You want to be in a relationship with her. And she tells you something like that. Who I used to be, that literally happened to me when I was younger, when I was like 20. I was like in love with this girl. We had sex once, but I was barely getting any action at that time in my life. And I just like really, really liked this girl. And I wanted to be in a relationship with her. And she very, very, from the beginning was straight up with me. She was like, I don't want to be in a relationship. I just want to like have fun. She would say, have fun. And it made me fucking upset, dude. I was so sad. But I liked her so much and I didn't want to lose her that I was willing to like put myself through this like emotional misery of, not getting what I wanted. I wanted a relationship. I didn't want to just like see her once a month or, twice a month or something just for like a night. I imagined myself going on dates with her, cuddling with her. Like that was something that I wanted at that time in my life. I was in college. I was like, I want to be in a relationship right now. It just feels right to me. And she didn't want that, but I was so desperate for her validation. She made me feel so good. Like the attention that she would give me, like on, once every 2 to 3 weeks. And I would just put up with it. I was just depressed every day. I was overthinking things. If I sent her a text, I would calculate it. I would ask people in my life, like, hey, is this okay? Do you think I should send this to her? Like, you just start overthinking everything, and you start trying to be this perfect guy, say the perfect thing. And when you're in that stage, it's funny. It's like when you're that guy, that's when you're the least attractive to women, is when you are overthinking everything. You're trying to, be perfect. You're trying to be this like calculated, cool guy. You want to say something really, really casual, even though you're like overthinking it. But the truth is, bro, like there's plenty of women out there for you. And when you're so committed emotionally to this one girl because you feel like she's your only option, that's where things get fucking bad, dude. And I was in that situation, and I, for like a few months straight, man, just kind of was letting myself get dragged by this girl. And ultimately we ended up just not talking. I came away from that whole situation thinking like, I cannot let that happen to me again. Just like being so just attached to a girl who wasn't even into me like that. If I can go back and tell that 20-year-old self, give him some advice on what to do, I would just say, bro, like she doesn't want what you want. Like just sit down and really think about it. Like, what do you want? Is it a relationship? Cool. Does this girl want that too? If she doesn't, then that's it. She doesn't align with what you want. And it's okay for you to want what you want. You don't need to adapt to what other people want. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that your life is in your own hands, and you really need to understand and give respect to yourself. Respect what you want and what you value. And if somebody doesn't align with that, then that person is not meant for you. And most guys don't ever really realize that. They don't ever really get to that point because they don't approach women. They don't know how to get women into their life consistently, right? They rely on friend groups to meet women, right? Like they sort of let the universe give them women, right? They kind of just coast, and they're too afraid to actually approach women and meet them, right? So they just kind of like, they swipe on dating apps and get matches like once a week maybe, and then those never really lead to anything. They hang out at, with friend groups and stuff, but it's like, okay, like maybe you'll meet somebody, maybe you won't. And if you do, it's like once every few months, you know what I mean? Introverted guys, man, a lot of these guys, and I used to be this guy, they just they're too afraid to take action and go for what they want. So how do you figure this stuff out, right? How do you like stay firm in who you are as a man? Basically, it comes down to you have a sense of direction in life that excites you. It doesn't have to be, craziest sense of direction of all time, but it has to be some sort of sense of direction that you're excited about. Could be developing a career, could be developing a better physique, whatever it is, right? Could be like getting really, really good at pottery or whatever. It could be anything. As long as it excites you and you look forward to doing that thing and it makes you happy, that's something that you need in life, as a man especially. Because what that gives you is internal validation. You're able to make yourself feel good without needing a woman to tell you that you're okay, that you belong in this world. No, you tell yourself that. Basically, that happens from doing positive habits, basically on a daily basis, like challenging positive habits, something that's hard, so that when you do it, you fucking feel good about yourself. You're like, fuck yeah, I did that. It feels good. And to me, that's the gym. I go to the gym, and if I'm not feeling great, I go to the gym. I just feel better, man. I do a hard workout. I have these like this mental clarity that comes to me that I'm like, dude, like, why was I so worried? So that's the gym for me. For you, it could be whatever, man. It could be anything, but you need to find something in your life that gives you that feeling. And I'll give you some advice on how you could find something like that. And basically the other thing is curing this idea that, I think it's called one-nightitis. If you get a girl in your life that she's the only girl out there for you, and you put all your eggs into one basket, and you just think like, all right, this is it. I need to make this work. I gotta be perfect. I gotta fucking text her the perfect thing. You just feel like she's the only one out there for you. The way you cure that is genuinely by meeting more women. And the way you are going to do that is through approaching them. It's not going to be through dating apps. It's not going to be through clubbing and maybe you like going clubbing, right? But it's not going to be through dating apps. It's not going to be through all of the other ways that don't work. It's going to be by actually walking up to a girl in real life and introducing yourself to her and having a conversation with her and just having a good time and realizing that hey, there's plenty of women out here that I could connect with on a personal level, and I could see myself even being in a relationship with these girls. Too many guys that are afraid to approach women, that's how they live their life. They let the world decide for them. And think of, is that you? Like, do you do that? Think about it. There's a good chance that a lot of you guys do that. I know I used to be that guy. I would let the world decide for me because I didn't feel like I was capable of making my own decisions and acting on what I really wanted. It was very hard for me to do that. But I got to a point, and approaching was one of the biggest factors that contributed to me like actually listening to myself. Because you see a girl, you're like, I want that. I want her. I want to go talk to her. And you're like, all right, I'm going to go do it. So then you go do it. You're not waiting for the perfect opportunity. You're not waiting for the universe to kind of like, create this scenario where you bump into her and you're, oh, but sorry, that was so weird, and then you fucking, like all the movies, you just let your insides tell you what you need to do. And you listen to what you want inside and you just fucking go do it, man. And constantly asking yourself, like, is this what I want? Reflect constantly. Is this what I want? Is this person somebody that I could see myself being with? Do I want the feeling that they give me? If not, cut them out. That's friends, that's girls, that's fucking hobbies, careers. You have to start listening to who you are, what's inside here. And I'm gonna tell you exactly how to do that in the next module. So I'll see you guys there.